Go to the doctor. My friend didn't, and now he's gone. You ever notice how we always think we have time? Time to rest, time to heal, time to get checked later. I used to think that way too, like most of us do. I thought we were invincible, that life would wait for us to be ready. But it doesn't. It doesn't wait for anyone. My friend Daniel, he thought he had time too. Daniel and I met in college. He was the type of person you notice immediately, the kind who could make the dullest lecture feel bearable just by cracking a joke. Funny, loud, full of energy, and unbelievably kind. He had this way of making you feel like nothing bad could touch you, at least for a little while. I remember our first conversation. We were in the cafeteria line, complaining about how overpriced the food was, and he just turned to me with this grin and said, "At least it keeps us alive for another day, right?" That stupid, sarcastic grin. I don't think I'd ever laughed that hard in a cafeteria before. He loved small things, late-night walks, coffee runs, random movie nights. But he also cared deeply for people. You didn't have to be his best friend for him to remember your birthday or notice when something was off. It started small. Daniel would cancel plans saying he was tired. Or he'd skip lunch saying he didn't feel like eating. Nothing too alarming at first, just little things you ignore. Then, one afternoon, he called me. His voice was quiet, almost hesitant. "Hey, I've been feeling off lately," he said. And me? I didn't think much of it. I told him to drink water, get some rest, maybe see a doctor if it didn't get better. But I didn't push, because that's what we all do, right? We assume people will take care of themselves, that those we love will be okay, but sometimes they won't. 2 weeks later, my phone rang. The name on the screen was his mom. I froze. Something in the way she said my name, I knew before she even spoke. "Daniel, he's gone," she said. He never went to the doctor. He never got that simple checkup that could have caught the problem early. He didn't want to worry anyone. He didn't want to seem weak. He thought he could tough it out. And now, he's gone. I keep replaying that last conversation in my head constantly. I wish I had asked more questions. I wish I had insisted he go to the doctor. I wish I had said anything. The hardest part isn't the grief. It isn't even the sadness. It's the regret. Knowing that a few simple actions could have changed everything. I wish I had been braver. I wish I had pushed harder. I wish I had made him see that going to the doctor wasn't weakness. It was self-care. It was survival. I remember all the small, silly moments. The time he tried to cook dinner for all of us and set off the smoke alarm. The time we spent all night arguing over which superhero would win in a fight. The Saturday mornings at that tiny coffee shop near campus, him insisting on the biggest chocolate muffin even though he'd complain it was too sweet. These memories, they're bittersweet now, because they remind me of someone vibrant, full of life, taken too soon. Daniel wasn't always the confident, loud guy I knew in college. He had a quiet home life growing up. His parents were loving, but busy, and he often felt like he had to be independent to handle things on his own. He never wanted to bother anyone with his problems. He thought he had to be strong, even when he wasn't. That mentality, it probably cost him his life. We all ignore warning signs. A persistent cough, unusual fatigue, headaches, we dismiss as stress. We tell ourselves, "I'll check it out later," or "It's probably nothing." Daniel's story is a harsh reminder. Don't wait, go to the doctor. Don't assume you're invincible. Don't let pride, fear, or busyness stop you. I keep thinking about what I could have said. "Please, just go get checked. Let me come with you. We can make it fun. It's okay to be scared. You don't have to do this alone." Those words might have made a difference. And I didn't say them. Daniel taught me about friendship, about noticing the small things, about laughing in the little moments. And now I'm left holding on to memories, the jokes, the laughter, the late night talks. But it's not enough. Friendship, it isn't just about sharing the good times. It's about looking out for each other, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient. I can't bring Daniel back, but I can tell his story. I can tell you, whoever's reading this, to go to the doctor. Don't wait. Don't ignore your health. Don't let fear or pride or busyness get in the way. Because the alternative is living with a grief so deep you can't breathe sometimes. I remember this one time. Daniel decided he was going to cook dinner for all of us. He had no clue what he was doing. He somehow set off the smoke alarm, burned the pasta, and spilled sauce everywhere. We laughed so hard that night, tears streaming down our faces. Or the time he rescued a stray cat and named it Captain Whiskers, and spent weeks trying to convince all of us to visit it. Or the time we got lost hiking, and he convinced everyone to sing loudly so someone could hear us from the trailhead. These small stories, they remind me how full of life he was, how much joy he brought into ordinary moments, and how fragile life can be. Daniel, I miss you. I hope somehow you know that you know I'm telling everyone to take care, to not make the same mistake we made. I can't bring him back. But maybe, just maybe, someone reading this will go get that checkup today. Someone will call their friend, insist they get looked at, even if they resist. Someone will act before it's too late. Life is short. Time is not guaranteed. But the choices we make, to act, to care, to speak up, those choices, they do matter. So don't wait. Don't think you have time, because you might not. Go to the doctor, check on your friends, hug your family, say the things that matter. Daniel, I miss you every day. But I promise, I'll make sure your story saves someone else. I didn't think I'd ever stop thinking about Daniel. Some nights I'd wake up, heart pounding, convinced I could hear his laugh from across the room, or the faint rustle of his jacket as he walked past the kitchen. It was those tiny details, the ones that seemed meaningless before, that now haunted me, like echoes of someone I'd lost too soon. Weeks turned into months, and life kept moving around me, even though it felt like I was frozen. Friends went back to their routines, birthdays happened, work carried on. And me? I just carried Daniel with me. Every laugh, every joke, every I'm fine that had haunted me now replayed like a film I couldn't turn off. One rainy evening, I was scrolling through my old messages. I didn't expect anything. I wasn't looking for Daniel. But my thumb hovered over his contact name, and something made me tap it. And there it was, something I hadn't seen before. A message scheduled to send weeks before he died. It read, "If you're reading this, I'm probably not around. Don't dwell on what you can't change. Live, laugh, love, and go to the doctor when your body whispers, not when it screams." I sat there, phone in hand, staring at it, feeling every heartbeat stretch into eternity. It was Daniel. He'd thought about this, about leaving something behind to push us, to remind us, even if he couldn't speak himself anymore. And in that moment, grief didn't feel like a pit I couldn't climb out of. It felt like a tether, a whisper, a way he was still guiding me. I read it again, slowly, deliberately, letting each word sink in. Live, laugh, love. I realized that grief wasn't supposed to erase everything. It wasn't supposed to keep me in a prison of guilt. It was supposed to remind me what mattered, what Daniel had always reminded me. Life moves fast and time waits for no one. Soft piano fades into low-hum. That night, I took a long walk. Rain pattered softly against my jacket, and the city smelled like wet asphalt and possibility. I thought about all the moments I'd let slip, the lazy I'll go next week kind of days, the times I didn't pick up the phone to check on friends, the days I pretended everything was fine when it wasn't. And I promised myself I wouldn't let those moments define me anymore. I started small. A doctor's appointment I had been putting off for months. A conversation I'd avoided with my parents. a phone call to a friend I hadn't seen in years. Each step felt like I was carrying Daniel with me, not in pain, but in purpose. Soft piano swelly. And it worked, in a quiet way. The grief didn't disappear. It never really does. But it softened. It became something I could hold without breaking, like a weight that reminded me I had a reason to keep moving forward. Then, a few weeks later, I found another scheduled message. This one sent to a group chat he had made months before. It was short, simple, and painfully thoughtful. Check on each other. Don't wait, don't ignore, and don't forget to live for both of us. I read it over and over. I realized Daniel had left us a roadmap, not instructions to avoid death, not a manual for happiness, but a reminder that even in absence, he could still guide us to care, to notice, to act, to live. I started reaching out to friends I drifted from, to family I hadn't called in months, to myself in the mirror whispering, it's okay to move forward. And every time I did, I felt him there. Not haunting, not accusing, just present, urging me to be the person he believed I could be. Grief has a strange rhythm. Some days it crashes over you like a storm. Others, it's a quiet ache, a memory of laughter and touch. But with Daniel's messages, it became something I could carry differently. Something that pushed me, not pulled me down. Soft piano hums rain faintly in the background. One night, I sat at my desk, staring at his picture, the one where he's grinning, arms crossed, the mischief in his eyes. And I whispered, I'm listening, Daniel. I'm really listening. I realized then that life isn't just about surviving loss. It's about honoring it, about taking the love and lessons people leave behind and letting it reshape you into someone better, someone who notices, someone who acts, someone who laughs in spite of the ache. And maybe that's the point. That even when someone's gone, they're not really gone. Not if you remember, not if you live, not if you carry them forward in every small, deliberate choice. I don't know if I'll ever stop missing him. Maybe I shouldn't. But I do know that I'll keep moving forward, checking in, laughing harder, loving fully. And when the phone dings with a scheduled message or an unexpected note from the past, I'll stop. I'll listen. I'll remember. Because Daniel's voice is still here, in the echoes, in the gentle reminders, in the lessons I carry. And if I honor him by living the way he wanted, by noticing, by acting, by loving, then maybe, just maybe, a piece of him will keep moving with me wherever I go. And that's why I tell this story, not just to mourn, not just to remember, but to push anyone listening to do the same. Notice, act, don't wait, don't ignore, because time doesn't come back. And sometimes the smallest message can change everything. Soft piano swells one last time, then fades slowly. I look out the window tonight, the rain's still falling, and I whisper to the dark, thank you, Daniel. I hear you. I'm living, just like you wanted. And somewhere in that quiet, I can almost hear him smile.